Hello crochet friends! Today I thought that we could take some time to have a little informal chat, as well as I can show you my progress on making a couple of the patterns from my 50 free crochet patterns for spring and summer video. If you watched that video, you saw me say a few times that I was going to add some of those patterns to my list, and I have definitely done that. If you hear crunching and clinking, my cat has decided to eat kibble because of course he's noticed that I am recording. One of my personal crochet goals is to add more crocheted wearable items to my wardrobe so that I can be sporting more crochet out and about in my daily life. I figured some of those patterns are a great opportunity for me to add some items to my wardrobe. I feel like personally one of the problems I have when shopping for clothes is that I buy a lot of items individually from the thrift store or like on clearance sale, and then when it comes time to wear outfits, a lot of my items are mismatched and don't work well together as like an ensemble of a wardrobe. That's another thing that I'm personally working on fixing, and it's going to require me going through all of the things I own and painfully deciding to let some of those things go. Stay tuned to watch the evolution of my personal wardrobe and how I am going to incorporate crochet into that, because at this moment, I myself am not wholly sure. Which speaks back to the original problem of not having like a overall vision for what I want my like look or aesthetic to be, just going with items I like and throwing those things together. So as part of that, wanting to add more crocheted items into my everyday wardrobe, I thought a skirt would be a great place to start. And I loved that Monte Rio skirt from my 50 free patterns for spring and summer video. I love the look of this one on the model in the photos for the pattern. They've got some lovely like different rainbow shades happening, and I really love the kind of vibrant scrap yarn feel. Of course, the first thing you gotta do when you're going to make a pattern is open up the pattern and look at what size yarn and hook and how much yarn you're going to need for this project. The information in this pattern said that it uses a 4.25 millimeter hook and a DK weight yarn. The yarn that they used was a Lion Cupcake yarn, which has since been discontinued. However, I did some digging. I Googled Lion Cupcake yarn and found out that it seems like it was a different version of Lion Mandala yarn. And wouldn't you know it, I happen to have Lion Mandala yarn. Shortly after I started crocheting, I found a bunch of Lion Mandala cakes on sale at Joann for like $4 or something a cake. They only had like 1 or 2 cakes of a bunch of different colorways, so I picked up a few different ones and figured, this is so pretty, I know I'll find something cute to do with this. Well, my friends, that was like 3.5 years ago. I am happy to report that I finally found a use for this yarn. This is the yarn that we are going to be using for the Monte Rio skirt, is this Lion Mandala yarn, which you can see my little clearance tag on the front of it. What did I pay? It was $4.47 per cake. So I have quite a few of these in different colorways, and my plan was to make a kind of rainbow pattern on the skirt using different versions of this mandala yarn. I have already started progress on this skirt here. You can see, I think I'm on like row 8 maybe. It's a very basic zigzag pattern in skirt form, and you can see how the color is starting to change to a white right now. Here it is with the remainder of the cake I am working with at the moment. It looked like in the pattern information, you used about 3 cakes of this yarn to make the full length of this skirt. I am personally not going to need that skirt to be 36 inches long, so I don't think I'm gonna need 3 full cakes. I do have plenty of this yarn ready and a plan in case it does require more yarn than I am thinking it will. You can see the progression of the colors on this cake right here, and we're going to go all the way to the center on this one where it ends in turquoise. And then I am not sure which way I'm going to go. I have a couple of options. Plan A is to start with this first cake, use the entirety of this cake, move on to cake 2, and then if I need to, I've got this third cake here that we could move on to. We could get crazy though and go with plan B. Plan B, we still use all of this first cake, and then instead of switching to this cake, we switch to this cake here, and we work from the center through this blue to the purple out to the yellow, and then when we get to the yellow, we switch to this cake and we start with the yellow here and we keep going this direction. There's always a third option, like we could throw in a completely different colored cake into the mix here, but I don't know, it seemed like too far off of the color schemes. I don't know though, maybe that's what I need. There's still time for me to change my mind on the plan for the colors. It is gonna take me a while to make this skirt. The colors are a little heavy on the oranges and purples, and I don't know how that's gonna work into anything that I currently own. So we'll see how well this skirt fits the bill of being something I can wear in my wardrobe all the time. I'm kind of hoping with all of the loud colors that it will be something I can match a wide variety of things to, but I don't know. We will find out when it's done. Stay tuned for the results. We all have different strategies and methodologies as to how we go about having projects. And some people like to have just one project and they finish it and then they move on to the next thing. I don't know how those people do that. And if you're one of those people, be sure to tell me your secrets down below in the comments. I have to have a lot of different projects going at the same time. I tend to get bored with things or need different kinds of projects for different circumstances in my life. For instance, this project fulfills a I don't really have to think about it too much need in my project schedule. I like to have something that's a little bit mindless, that's not too difficult or consumes a lot of my mental activity to work on for those times when I just want to crochet and not have to think about anything. I have pieces that I'm designing for my own patterns, and when working on those, I have to be in the correct mindset. You have to feel okay with working on a project for quite a while and then potentially having nothing to show for it if the work you did on it did not meet the creative vision in your mind. There's also stopping what you're doing and taking pictures of your work, which also you have to be in the correct mindset to do. Sometimes you just want to crochet. You just want to pick something up and not have to think about it very much and just be able to crochet. And I like to have one or two projects like that going at all times. Sometimes I can fold that into other things that I'm working on. Like I will probably take this skirt to work with me and work on this on my lunch breaks when I am working, as well as kind of work on this at the end of the night when I'm winding down, watching TV, and I don't really want to have to think too much about what I'm making. I also like to have things that are maybe a little bit more challenging and I'm following a pattern and I have to read closely and follow it carefully. And those are the kinds of things I have to be in this correct mental state to work on. You know, you got to have different projects going for those different times in your day. Now, maybe you're one of those people who God blessed with an attention span and the ability to complete things from start to finish in one go. And if he did, kudos to you for having a skill that I do not have. I also have those moments where inspiration strikes and I've just got to make something and I've got to get it out of my head and make it really quickly. You know, I have been meaning to block these sleeves for a while and I haven't done it, and every time I catch a glimpse of myself, I can see this like sticking up in little places and I'm like, oh man, I've really got to block these. One of the fun things about having ADHD is that sometimes you go on little side quests when you're trying to do something and end up with a fun thing that you didn't anticipate. For me, last night, that was making more silicone bead crochet hooks. You, like me, may have seen a lot of people online customizing their own crochet hooks using silicone beads, and I thought, is that comfortable to hold? Will I like that? I don't know. So a while back, I ordered a set of silicone beads that were cute with skulls on it because that's my vibe. And I made a custom hook for myself to try it out. This hook right here. It's got a cute little skull bead at the end. Everyone's body is built differently and everyone holds a crochet hook differently. So what is comfortable for me may not be comfortable exactly for you. I find that I need help in the part that sits in my palm being larger so that my lower two fingers aren't cramping up while I'm holding my hook. I tend to hold my crochet hook like this, and I'll put my finger on it as I'm working through the stitches in the yarn and pick this finger up and down. I like to have the flat part for my thumb to rest on, And I like to have something larger on the far end of the handle to make it more comfortable for my last two fingers to grip the crochet hook. And this is what works well for me. So I only put beads up to the center mark. I found this helpful as well so that I can still see the size markings on the little flattened thumb spot, and I won't forget what size hook they are. You may want to put beads all the way up the top neck of this crochet hook, and if that's for you, go for it. Put as many beads as is comfortable for you. And when I went to start crocheting my Monte Rio skirt and it called for that 4.25 millimeter hook, it's very skinny, and I thought this is going to be small and make my hand hurt. And so I busted out my silicone beads and made a custom hook handle for this hook. It also has skulls on it. And I mean, once you have all the stuff out to do it, why put it all away after doing one? Why not make a bunch more? And that's what I did. I put a custom handle on this 3.75 millimeter hook that I use for amigurumi. I went purple themed with this purple colored 5.5 millimeter hook that I use a lot for wearables. And I went with more black and white skulls on this 6.5 millimeter hook. And this is my most favorite hook. I have been using this hook the longest, and you can't really see it because it's underneath the silicone beads, but the paint and finish has worn off of the hook down here, and it's also starting to wear up here where I touch it with my pointer finger all the time like this. It's just kind of hard to see with all the glare on camera. So now I have like a whole set of custom silicone bead hooks with skulls involved. There are tutorials on YouTube that you can look up to show you how to put silicone beads onto your crochet hooks. If you'd like for me to make a video showing you what I did for mine, I'd be happy to do that. Just drop me a comment down below. In addition to that Monte Rio skirt, I am about to embark on the journey of making something else from that 50 free patterns video, and that is going to be the corset belt. Now, I mentioned in that video, if you watched it, that I'd already ordered hardware and I was waiting on the yarn. My yarn just finally all showed up yesterday. Joanne decided to ship my 7 items in 5 different shipments. But now I have all of the equipment, and I figured we could just review that here before I get started in case anybody else had been considering making one of these along with me. The pattern calls for Bernat Maker yarn, and when I looked up this yarn, it says that it is a cotton tube yarn. It mentioned being soft and squishy, but yet also kind of stretchy. I was not sure, having never worked with this yarn, what the texture was going to end up being like and how that would work if I substituted it out for another yarn. I did try to go on yarnsubstitutions.com and see if there was any other yarn brands that were recommended to substitute for this. None of the ones that it said were anything like what I had. I could try to do a gauge swatch and keep swatching and swatching until I've matched that with a chosen yarn out of my stash. Or I could forego all of that trouble and just get the freaking Bernat Maker yarn that they recommended. So I took the easy out here and ordered Bernat Maker yarn. I really don't want to add much to my yarn stash, but I figured that if I liked this corset and how it works out, I would want to make another, if not a few more of these, so I could have different colors. My goal this year is to try to use up as much of my yarn stash as I can and only order yarn minimally. But I knew that if this pattern works out and I like the outcome, that I would want to make multiples, and I just wanted to be certain that this project was actually going to work out. Now, once I've made one, I will know how the yarn behaves and have a better idea of what other yarns I can substitute out for and potentially make different corset belts in different styles of yarn other than this Bernat Maker. Ultimately, I would like these corset belts to be able to work into my wardrobe in a similar fashion as I was discussing with that Monte Rio skirt. And in order to do that, I need to have colors that will match a wide variety of things. So when I ordered, I kept that in mind, and I got cream, which is a little bit kind of like a pale khaki to me, but I still think this would be a good option to be a versatile color to go with lots of different things. I also got gray because gray is my favorite color and I love it. So I figured it would probably work well with a lot of things I already own. However, it'll be too much gray if I'm layering gray on gray. So I did give myself the option of black. Black is classic, black is always cool, black goes with everything. My problem with black is that I have two very fluffy, light colored cats, and their hair works its way into everything I own, embedding itself into the fibers, and it won't even come out when you lint roll it. It is ridiculous, and black things are always coated in cat hair no matter what I do. I want it to be black, but I just feel like black is probably not the best option for me. So I'm not really sure right now which one of these three colors I'm going to start with making my first corset. I think I'm probably going to go with the cream color because I think that would be the more versatile color than gray to go with more options in the things I already own. Now, I did drop a link in the comments of my 50 free patterns video with the hardware that I ordered, but I'm going to show you what I got so that you can see it for yourself. This is a 10-inch corset busk. Like, let me hold this up more so you can actually see it. You can see it has the connections on the front, and these are going to be crocheted over, and then these little hooks and eyes will be sticking out of the corset belt. This is the boning that I ordered for the corset. It calls for a couple, I think it's 2 of the larger pieces and 4 of the smaller pieces. This is pretty flexible, and I haven't reviewed the pattern to see how this is incorporated, and once I've done that and actually like made this once or twice, I can see if you could use different types of boning, like plastic zip ties, which I know from watching a lot of costume videos that's what most people tend to be using when they are using things for boning. I was worried when it said to use this metal boning that it would be too stiff, but it is very flexible like a zip tie, so I don't think they're going to be too stiff. I have personally never worn a boned corset in my life, and I'm not sure how I am going to like it. Also, the 10-inch busk sounded small in my mind, and when I got it in person and held it up to my body, it feels rather large. Like, this doesn't look that big, but when I held it up to myself as to where the corset was going to sit, it's coming up all the way to my breastplate, and that is a lot larger than I was somehow thinking in my brain. I think this could be a really cool accessory to add to my wardrobe, and I am excited to see how this works out. I've never made anything like this before, so this is definitely going to be something that's going to push me outside of my crochet comfort zone and help me to learn and grow as a crocheter. I have been working on plans to make another fairy outfit. This is going to be more of a flower forest fairy outfit, and I am very excited for that. I am also going to be entering some crochet items into my local county fair this fall. Our fair is in September, so I have a few months to get something ready. I'm thinking that I am going to use the hat from this flower forest fairy look as the thing I'm going to enter into the fair, but I'm not really sure. I'm still like weighing it out, but I need to make a decision soon and get crocheting. Otherwise, this project's gonna wait too long and I won't have time to enter the fair again this year. Being the forgetful queen that I am, I have forgotten the last 2 years about the fair until it is way too late for me to make something for it or enter. So hopefully this will be another fun experience for me to add into my crochet journey and help me to learn and grow as a crochet artist. Plus, I'll be able to get out in the community and meet some local crocheters, which will be really cool. I should be getting started on that corset belt next week, so if you want to see my progress with that, please stick around and subscribe because I will be making a video covering me making that corset. Hopefully, there will only be minimal tears shed. My stomach is a rumbling, and I am gonna go make myself some dinner and then get crocheting on all of these projects that I've been talking about. I hope you guys have enjoyed this kind of more informal chatty video today. I've been dealing with some health issues and it's nothing life-threatening and everything will be okay, but it has been very physically and emotionally taxing for me, and I am pretty stressed out. I won't be able to have any answers until probably about 2 months from now when I get to have more testing done. So It might be it might be a bit of a tense wait for me, and I am going to be trying to just lose myself in my art and creating things so that the time goes by a lot faster. I figured I would take it easy on myself this week and make a little bit more of a laid back video with you guys. I will be posting updates about my Monte Rio skirt, as well as probably some progress reports on that corset on my social media, so feel free to follow me over there. I am Graceface Creates on all platforms, and I always love to make new crochet friends. I'm gonna go make myself some food, watch Jujutsu Kaisen, and crochet all of my problems away. I will catch you in my next video. Thanks again for watching, you guys, and happy crocheting. Why am I leaning so hard like this? Is it this chair? I feel like there's a cat hair stuck to my mouth. Yeah, sit on a beanbag. It's a totally good idea. Sitting on a beanbag is a bad idea. It's making me all kinds of wonky.